Hello, in this session we will create a volumetric texture using materials. First, we create a material. To enable the opacity mask, we change the material's blend mode to masked. Next, by pressing the T key and clicking, we create a texture sample node and set the desired texture. This time, we will use the Unreal logo texture. Then, we copy the texture sample node and convert it into a texture object node to set the texture for the next node we will create. After that, we create a spiral blur texture node, which allows us to apply blur to the texture. Connecting the texture object to the spiral blur texture node, we can see the blur effect on the logo texture. Since the blur effect is too strong, we use a constant node to reduce the blur's distance. The constant node can be created by pressing 1 and clicking. Next, we create a bump offset node to add depth to the texture. For setting the UV, we create a text chord node, and for setting the height of the bump offset node, we create a parameter node, connecting both to the bump offset node. The parameter node can be created by pressing S and clicking. Then, we connect the bump offset node to the UV pin of the spiral blur texture node to add depth to the texture. Following that, we create a subtract node and subtract the spiral blur texture node from the texture sample node to create a texture with volumetric borders. Next, to set the inside color of the texture, we create a multiply node and a constant 3-vector node and connect them to the texture sample node. The multiply node can be created by pressing M, and the constant 3-vector node can be created by pressing 3 and clicking. Then, to set the emissive color, we create the same nodes again and a parameter node to adjust the brightness of the emissive color. Finally, we use the multiply node to add the emissive color to the edges of the texture. We also use the constant node to adjust the material's roughness. Then we return to the content drawer and create an instance of the material we made. In the material instance, we set the texture to the desired color. By placing a cube in the level from the place actor and applying the material, we can verify if the volumetric texture appears.